Hey, I'm Daryll.
And I'm Greg.
We're on a journey on
the long and winding road
to share with you the glorious gift of
music.
We've had the privilege of making a lot of friends, and now we finally have the chance to sit down and have a conversation about their
long and winding road
and share with us the glorious gift of their
music.
So,
relax and rewind it back.
On that note, here's On That Note
with Daryll
and Greg.
There's nobody on their pedigree, I would say, right now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's on a whole another level. The 4 albums, 4 amazing albums. One that just came out a few months back. Please welcome Rudy and Tips and Soulmate.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen.
Some people say I'm fat, some people say I'm thin, but I don't care about what they say. I just love the shape I'm in and I feel good. Yeah, I feel fine. I said I should feel good about myself, baby, most all of the time. Some people like my hair worn short, some people like it long.
So guys, welcome to On That Note. How have you been? How has 2020 been for you guys? How has this left field slap in the face of all our plans been?
Yeah, it's been a slap in the face, that's for sure.
I'm not complaining.
Everybody. But then
Nice.
But then on the other side, on the flip side of the coin, it's been pretty productive in a way, like things that we wouldn't have normally done if we were on tour.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing so, so that's positive.
True.
Yeah.
True. To see like you guys still doing it, you like it's not stopping. Like the music is being written, the album is coming out, like just it's continuing. And seeing that, to most of us is like, okay, cool. They have, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I have faith. Yeah. That okay, it's fine. If they can do it, man, come on. We can like band together and like do this. You know what I mean? So it's really nice. It's really nice. And like when Soulmate started, so we'll talk about that in a bit. So how did Soulmate start? How did you guys like meet each other? When did you all start jamming? And how did you know that like Soulmate was it? You know what I mean? Like how did you know that Soulmate was the complete thing? It was Soulmate.
Well, I mean, we met here in the studio when Tips came to record for a gospel album.
Okay.
It was like, I think, a tribute album. No? Mm-hmm. And she was part of a bunch of other singers as well.
Bible Society of India.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was recording, arranging the tracks and stuff, generally producing the album. And the producer had come and he said that Tips was going to be there, and a few other, singers from Shillong. And then I think that's what, man, the first time I actually heard her singing, and I had arranged a couple of the songs like, I've forgotten, it was so long ago, man, 2003. But they had that bluesy kind of feel to them.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, that's, I think, where the connection was made between the two of us. And at that point of time, I had also left Mojo. So I was in between bands, and I wasn't. I didn't have any plans as such. Right. I thought maybe I just sit down and start just working on the blues aspect of it. But then after I met Tips, like kind of things just fell into place. And we used to travel. I mean, at that point of time, there was no band.
Right.
So I had the Roland 880, the recorder, VS880. So I'd record the drums and bass parts over there. Then I'd play guitar, and she'd play rhythm for some songs. And then we'd go and do a couple of gigs, taking the machine along, like tracks. Yeah, and that's how we started off, And then gradually we decided, okay, let's involve live
Real
musicians.
musicians, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because it was no fun playing with a machine, especially playing the blues.
Yeah.
True.
Yes, we said we need, but what we're going to do is this time, my experience with playing with bands, we said this time what we'll do is we'll be the main members, the sole members of the band, and we'll invite session players.
Right.
So that's how it all started,
Right.
Yeah.
But then I think in India, the main, where it really started was when we met,
Current son.
we had gone to Goa actually through OML, Vijay Nair.
Okay.
Okay.
We played a gig in Delhi, and then from there he took us to Goa. So Sam, Manas Chaudhary, Tips, and myself. And there was nothing, that time there was nothing about money and stuff like that. So we just went, we said, let's just go and do it and get recognized. So we played a couple of gigs there. We got a little bit of money. And then Ishita, who was kind of like the road manager for the band, Ishita Mustafi, she said, I know this gentleman in Delhi, he's a Sardar, but I think he loves the blues. So she introduced us to Kiran Sant at the Haze.
Okay.
Yeah, late Kiran Sant. And he was the guy who kind of like really supported us. And we didn't know, it was all kind of like, I think, meant to be.
Right.
It was meant to be because he was planning to close down the Haze, at least close down the live music scene that was there.
Okay.
So Menopause were the in-house band
Okay.
there. So he was going to close it down. Then Ishita told him about us. So from Goa or wherever, Bombay, we came back to Delhi. And she said like he has these live things on Friday nights. So she introduced us to him. And we didn't know that he was a hardcore blues fan. And he didn't know that there was a band that played the blues in India.
Right. That's
So we just kind of
meeting
it was
of, right?
kindred spirits.
Yeah.
Right.
It happened, and then after that we played there every year for 6 or 7 years. Every month. Twice a month for 7 years in Delhi. So who would have thought that would have happened? And then after that we met, while we did those gigs, we met Amit Saigal, late Amit Saigal
Right.
from our Rock Street Journal.
Yes.
Right.
He had this other thing going, the Pub Rock Fest.
Okay.
The Pub Rock Fest, and then the Great Indian Rock Festival,
Yeah.
which was every year. And those two festivals got us to crowds and places that we never played before.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
You guys have played you guys went to Memphis, and that is probably it's like asking a white guy to come play Khasi traditional music in Shillong, So it's like getting you guys to Memphis was probably like that. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stuff you guys have done, but that would have probably been the most most memorable one for you guys.
Satisfying.
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 Yeah, satisfying. I guess satisfying in a way because that's the mecca of the blues,
Yeah.
the home of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for us, it wasn't so much about the competition as such, the Blues Foundation competition. But for us, it was more about getting to the US and playing our blues for the folk there.
Exactly true.
Yeah.
Because there's no better judge, I guess, of that particular kind of music than those guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like playing for them, it's like like you said, it might not be about winning the contest, but there's a different contest that happens, and it's probably only you with the crowd, and the crowd is the only person that you're trying to okay.
You're the judge.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, cause
In the end, they accepted us. They were like, wow. After we played our bit,
yeah.
and then they were like, I remember these black ladies would come up and say, "Where are you from?" I say, "I'm from India." Indiana? No, India, where the Taj Mahal is. It's like, damn, you got
But they play the blues there.
They play the blues there. I said, yes, of course, we just did play the blues for you. He said, you've got the heart of the Mississippi And I'm like, whoa.
Because that's the important thing, I think. No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like yeah, man.
When we first got together to do this show, we wanted to understand how bands were moving through, no matter whatever stage in the career there was,
Yeah.
to understand how the levels went up. So I think it's important for us to understand how you guys came from, and
Where you came from, how you came up, and
Yeah.
Especially for the people in Shillong.
yeah,
Because a lot of people in Shillong and Meghalaya don't know. It's
Yeah.
more of the people outside of the state, you know,
true.
and the students from Shillong, the Khasi students studying outside, Khasi, Jaintia, Garo.
Yeah.
The people from Shillong, most of them didn't know anything about us.
But true.
Right. So let's move on to, obviously, I'm pretty sure you guys are set now. You know, it looks like Vinny and Lee have, are setting that. But we understand that through playing many shows, you guys also had a lot of session musicians that have played with you. I mean,
Right. Like I think
Yeah.
every name that comes to the top of our heads that we know of, you have played with.
yeah.
You know?
It's incredible. But then we would like to understand from your point, how was it working with so many people yet
Maintaining that
Soulmate.
soulmate sound, that soulmate thing.
Question, man. Nobody's ever asked us that. I think only musicians will understand that.
That's true. That's also very true.
Well, I mean, talking about musicians, we've had, I think, as a band, the most number of drummers that any band could play with. Session players, and really good drummers. Good drummers. And bass players, maybe 2-3 of them. But about maybe 8 or 9 drummers through this whole period of 17, 18 years. We've had a couple of keyboard players.
Right.
But in the end, to answer your question, I just feel it was the fact that, when we said that 2 of us would be the core of the band, and initially when Sam was playing, Sam, Furry, Tips and myself,
Right.
before Leon came into the scene, many times, Tips was just learning the songs on guitar at that point of time. So she would play a few songs and then I would be doing the rest of the stuff, like on guitar, rhythm. So at that point, I thought to myself, it was a good chance for me to learn how to play like rhythm and to keep the whole rhythm section tight,
Right.
back her up.
Right.
That was the main emphasis. And I think we kept that going. As long as the rhythm section is tight, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay.
People have to give Tips credit for your rhythm guitar.
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
A lot of people talk about your voice, like obviously you have one of the most amazing voices that we have.
Thanks.
But
I'm glad you said that, because when I asked Rudy, he would never give me that compliment because he wants me to get better.
But I did do it.
And sometimes when I say rhythm, he'd be like, it's okay, you need to get better.
Yeah. But I did compliment her about maybe 4 years ago. She's forgotten. Or 5 years ago.
I'm getting old.
Yeah.
4 years ago.
But then it's okay. It's okay. At that point, when I complimented her, it was on a Facebook post. It was like an indirect thing. And I said, Lou Majaw and Tips are my favorite rhythm players.
Right.
Because, there are very few, I'll tell you very frankly why I say that. Because there are very few rhythm players in India. People that can actually play rhythm.
Consistently.
Yeah.
Very consistently. True.
Yeah. Everybody wants to play a lead. Everybody wants to play a solo. But rhythm, to just hold down a groove and to just play rhythm, it's very difficult to just do that.
True.
Very difficult to do.
so I think we should move to this segment where we talk about your music. How you guys wrote the music. I think we should start all the way back from Shillong, the first album. So walk us through how that was for you guys.
I think I Am was the main, really popular song
Yeah.
off the first album,
Yeah.
and which Tarun and all did a video of.
Video.
Yeah,
That
video.
that was the first time that I saw a band from my hometown on VH1.
TV, exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I know these guys.
Yeah.
He stays just here. It's like, hey, yo, what? I am. That's the one.
Yeah,
And you know why he wrote I am? Because I'm always complaining. Because some people would say, hey, you look kind of thin, man. You gotta eat. And sometimes, why you so fat? So when I tell Rudy all this, Rudy, do I look thin? Do I look fat? He comes out with the song I am. And that song,
Dynamic once again.
every woman I know loves the song. And
most of them think she wrote it.
It works.
I sang in such a way that people think that it's my song.
There's one very interesting piece from Shillong. I think Serla Palang. That was
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
That was something very interesting. How did you guys come about doing something like that?
So for me, the idea of writing Shillong was, like Shillong, past, present, and future.
Okay.
In what I what I imagine Shillong to be like. It ends. Sela Palang. It ends on a positive note. Basically, the last two verses we chose were
Quite positive.
like telling people, talking to our people about respecting each other and respecting other people as well,
Yeah.
other cultures, other relationships. When you go out, how to respect. You should respect other people. So when they come in here and they respect you, you earn that respect. You don't expect it to happen automatically.
Right.
So it's a two-way street. So that's why we chose those two particular verses.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's really long, some 27 stanzas or something like that.
Yeah.
Like 2 albums.
That one.
If we had the time to pick out every single song, because it would have been nice to do that. But we have to move on. So obviously, moving on to the next
Wow.
album.
Patak. Ladies and gentlemen.
Moving on to me is my favorite Soulmate album, in my opinion. I mean, till date, I think that has the best sounding everything: drums, bass, guitar, vocals. I don't know. I have a very deep connection with that album.
Right.
Surprise is still
Yeah.
my one of my favorite songs. Yeah. So tell us about Moving On.
We titled the song Moving On. At that point of time, I guess the title track, Moving On, if you listen to the lyrics, it's about getting on in life, understanding yourself better as you grow older, as you mature. I try and look at, when I write songs, I try and look at it from a different person's perspective. Like I stand outside myself and look at myself, see what I'm doing, how I am right now. So with that kind of an idea as a third person, third person's perspective, or second, an outsider's perspective on my life, and then the influences, that my friends and, the relationships that I've had. So basically it talks about moving on and gaining confidence with oneself, how one handles life, the challenges in life. So basically that's what the song was about, positive. That was there. Then the price was basically, that was a song that was liked by a lot of people, and especially a lot of gays and lesbians.
Okay.
It kind of resonated with them.
Right. Having
I wrote that
to
song.
hide under
I
a
wrote that
veil.
song for
Behind.
Hiding behind a mask,
Right.
not showing your feelings, not being able to show your true feelings,
Yes.
the frustration,
Right.
and the price that one has to pay for being in love with somebody else.
Right.
That society feels is not correct, it's not right.
Right.
So that's the price that a person has to pay. Yeah, to me, that's one of I really love that album as well, because I find it's very warm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very warm sounding, very, very lush.
Right.
That
Even
was
though-
recorded where you guys are right now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But mixed with Barry
Okay.
in Barry's,
Nice.
and then mastered in Bombay. You know Tyrone, Floyd Fernandez's brother. Tyrone.
Oh, yeah.
Tyrone's in the Netherlands now. He's in Holland, but he was in India that time. So he was working as an assistant engineer at oh god, I forget that guy's name, in a studio in Bombay. So I just wrote to him and asked him like, Daryll, like, who, we want someone to master this album. So he said, you can send it to me, bro. He said, like, I'd love to listen to the album and master it. So, and I asked him then, how much will you charge? Because we didn't have much money, at that point in time. We still don't have much money. even lesser now with the COVID taking it all away. He said, you pay me whatever you want, bro. Like he said, so I sent him the songs. He really freaked out, man. And I think it was he also loved the songs. So I guess in the end it was a genuine love from all sides.
True.
Our love in the album, and then Barry mixing it, and then Tyrone mastering it there. That's what made it what it was. Generally, it sounded so nice.
Moving on to another album. 10 Stories Up is again one of, I think, your biggest project, that the band has done. I mean, I know you guys recorded this with Shantanu Hudlikar in Yash Raj Studios, which is still one of the best studios I think we have in the country. And at that time, it was not easy to come by, I think, for any band to be recording in Yash Raj.
Yeah.
And more so, it would have been harder for you guys because you had to move. I mean, everyone had to move bass there for a while you were recording that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it came up really well. I think it was very well received when it came up. So many positive reviews.
But the thing is, it was Shantanu. Remember Shantanu? He had come to the Mahindra Blues Fest.
Yes.
He had come from one of the Mahindra Blues festivals,
Right.
and he was in the audience. And he saw us. As soon as we finished, we went back to the green room. And suddenly Shantanu walks in. He was a little high, but he was like thrilled. He said, "You guys have to record in Yash Raj." You know how Shantanu is. Very forceful, and like he was like adamant that we record there. He said, "I'm going to work things out for you guys." I said, "Man, Shantanu, it's too expensive, man." I said, "We can't even think about it. We'll have to spend a minimum of 10 days if we have to do it there, and that's going to cost us." An arm and a leg, maybe more, 2 legs. So he said, "Don't worry, we'll try and work things out." Then we met him in Delhi. At one, there was a show there that happened in Delhi. So we sat down and had a meeting, and he tried to cut down on costs and this and that, but we were still not sure because we didn't have any sponsors,
Right.
nothing like that at that point of time. Okay. Till we went and met that time Kong Matsudor War, Nongri. She was the director of arts and culture. So we went and spoke to her. Then she said, "You write an application, for what you need." So we went and met her. We wrote down the costings and stuff like that. Then she said, "Maybe I cannot give you all of this, but maybe part of this for sure. I'll help you out." Thanks to her, till date, at least, that was the best help we've received from the government. Any other governments that have been in Shillong, in Meghalaya.
But I will never do that again. I will.
Yeah.
I would like to be
Tension.
constricted with the time for recording.
Right,
Because
right,
we
right.
have this much time and we have to finish so much songs. And every day you wake up with a tension on your mind and on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Whether
You can't go and
Not free.
you're not free to do
Right.
what you want.
So let's move on to the final album, the one that you guys just put out a month ago, almost 2 months ago now. Give Love. Even that was something that came out, I would say, at a time where a lot of people really needed that. They really needed an album like that. And we've been waiting a long time since then. Sorry, to get it up. Yeah. I was like, I remember we used to always ask. I asked Rudy this question. When are you guys doing another album again? Yeah. So it was a long time coming, but it's so worth it. So a lot of those songs there, I've heard them. A lot of us have heard them live before. And so we already had like a strong connection with Give Love. But then obviously, hearing the album, hearing the recorded material is just so much better. So give us some of the insights into the making of Give Love and how that came.
The album was actually, we got into the studio last November 2019. When, actually what happened was, prior to that, we were busy touring. We really didn't have time. We were not thinking about the studio either. Even though we had all these songs, till finally we said, if we don't do it now, we're never going to get into the studio, and record the songs. Like Mali says, strike the hammer while iron is hot. So yeah.
Tell us about like the song selection that you guys thought of for this album.
This was the easiest album to make a list for, like a
track listing.
Like starting from song 1 to how we ended it.
Yeah.
Because it was like playing live. It was more like how we would play it live. So it wasn't difficult to decide which will be the first song, because we normally start our gigs with with the way we are.
Yeah.
We normally start our gigs with that song, and we normally end the gig with Your Love.
Yeah.
So it was more like a live thing, and then these other songs just fell into place, and took it up, and then brought it down. Right. Took it up a little bit, and then ended off with Your Love on a high note, Yeah. So
it's like a set.
Yeah.
list.
So I think this album was more like a live set list.
Right.
For those who have not, who've never seen us live, you gotta listen to this album, because we would sound more or less like this album.
Yeah.
If you see us live.
But I think everyone's seen Soulmate live. I think.
For those who haven't seen Soulmate live, you all crawl out of the rock that you're under. So you can't live in Shillong and not.
Yeah, where have you been? Where have you been? If you haven't seen Soulmate live, where have you been? I have to give a huge shout out to Vinny and Lee.
Yes, shout out Vinny.
Yep.
and Lee.
Vinny and Lee. This is the first album where they've played together as like a unit, and it sounds really
Right,
tight,
yeah.
And I used to have these conversations with a lot of people when we come for your shows. Since Vinny and Lee have come in, it's become slightly even more better than what it was. I think it for you guys it probably is also like that. It must have been.
Yeah,
easy.
man. The energy is like,
Absolutely.
the thing is, I think because they've grown up with these songs,
Right.
or listening to us play and whatever. Like, especially Vinny. Lee's been with us for a while,
Yeah.
but especially Vinny, he's been with us for the last maybe 5 years now, and like he really understands.
Yeah.
You can see he feels when he's playing. Also, you can see he feels.
Yeah.
He feels whatever he feels. He listens to the words. He knows the words of the songs, which not many of the drummers knew prior to him. So I think that's really important, because I've always told any backing musician, any session player who's been with us, you can learn the song, but it's important to learn the lyrics.
Right. Because you know where your stops are. You know.
You know the lyrics. You understand how to play with that feel,
Right.
which is the most important for us.
Yeah.
Instead of just playing blind.
And of all the session plays, I think Rudy, I think is more comfortable to teach his own children. It's difficult to tell someone who's not part of your family to do play like this, play like that. They feel like, oh, he's too commanding, he's too demanding. But then, whereas Vinny and Lee is he has been telling me that it is very easy to teach them, and they are always there for rehearsals.
Right.
It's not like we have to wait for someone coming all the way from some other place to reach and wait for them. That also takes a toll,
Yeah.
It's waiting for me.
I was just going to say, that's why I smiled.
I like how you did that. All right, Mama Tips.
And on top of all of that, I'm pretty sure you guys still have
more stuff in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we have something planned, but we're not going to.
We're cooking.
We're cooking something up. It's going to be happening.
this sounds
Coincidentally, like the recording is going to start end of October, November as well. So it's crazy. I mean, like how it's worked out, And I guess this COVID thing hasn't been so bad for us in a way,
True.
like the other side of the coin again,
Yeah, yeah.
the yin and yang, the yin and yang of this whole COVID experience. You know, so the positive side has been that we've had a lot of time to do other things that which we would normally never do. Because of the commitments and stuff and the touring and stuff. Now, so we've got something else that will be cooking up soon, starting end of this month.
We should ask everybody to please go out and check Give Love. That album is out everywhere, I think, on every single...
Spotify, it's on a lot of...
It's also... We have the online store called the Northeast Store, Shillong based.
Right.
So they're selling our albums online in case people want to buy. They don't. It's not in shops here in Shillong, but you can always order it online.
Yeah.
Right.
You can get our merchandise
T-shirts.
as well. It'll help the band a lot if you do that.
So you hear that? You better get merchandise. You better get the albums. You better get the T-shirts, the bags, whatever it is. Just get it.
Help out,
because
I think at this time, especially for touring musicians, merch is probably the biggest thing that we can get an income out of. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Help out, man.
And with that, we shall come to this performance video. I think we have a video here from the Shillong Performance Arts Festival. Was it 2016? Yeah, tell us a bit about what we're gonna be witnessing here.
Yeah, so this was organized in 2015 with the help of the Arts and Culture, Department of Arts and Culture. And we had a director who was really into doing this at that point of time. I wish all directors would be like her. Support, because that's what we need. We need support from the government, especially. So at that time, it was organized by Springboard. So they put together this collage of, it was over 2 days, plays and poetry and magic and stuff. And then Soulmate was on the second day when we did a history of the blues, a presentation of the history of the blues, where we had a choir backing us up, where we had Karan, that was his last gig with us, late Karan Joseph. He was on keyboards. Shepherd was there. He played guitar on some songs, and then we had a special guest with us at that point of time. He was teaching at the Center for Excellence, George Brooks, who played saxophone. So George Brooks was a guy we happened to meet here in Shillong, and we didn't know that he was staying just 2 minutes walk away from where I live.
Right.
The parallel lane. So he was here to teach at the Center for Excellence.
Okay.
Then Gino Banks told him, he said, you should meet up with Rudy and all. Maybe you can jam together. Maybe they'll be playing a gig. So he called up one day and I said, we're rehearsing for this history of the blues. So he said, where are you all at? I said, where are you staying? He said, I'm staying at this guest house here. So I said, oh man, we're almost neighbors.
Walking this.
Yeah, so he walked in that evening here with his saxophone, and we had a jam. He said, we're doing this song. Then he said, and he's the guy who's played with Albert Collins.
Right.
He's played behind Etta James. He's played with everyone, almost everyone from the blues R&B scene in the US. Like right now, he plays a lot with John McLaughlin and Zakir Hussain, and he's played with Larry Coryell. So such a humble guy. He walked in here and he took out his saxophone. We said, George, can you play on this song? Because we felt this particular song, Ain't Nobody's Business. We felt that would be ideal for him. And, since he's played with Etta James and Tip singing, I think he would get the vibes straight away. Yeah. And he did, man. He just said, you tell me where you want me to play, where you don't want me to play, I'll just shut up. That kind of such a humble guy, great guy.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened.
So with that, check out Ain't Nobody's Business from the Shillong Performance Arts Festival. This is Soulmate featuring Karan Joseph, George Brooks, Shepherd. Yeah, the whole blues music scene is there. Check out that video.
if I go to church always Sunday. Lord, I come back home and want to raise hell all day Monday. Lord, it ain't, but it ain't nobody's business what I do. Jump off right into the Indian Ocean. Lord, it ain't, no, it ain't. It ain't nobody's business what I do. No, it ain't nobody's business. I wanna say it ain't. Lord, it ain't nobody's business. No, it ain't nobody's business. What I do, just what I do.
Little Mama Tips, George Brook.
Give it up to George. Yeah.
All right, that was Soulmate with performing at the SPAF 2017 with Karen Joseph and George Brooks. So, guys, any final words since we have come to the end of the show? Just shout out whatever you have going on, whatever you have coming up. And if you have any shows, any final words for younger musicians who are only starting their journey on this long and winding road, it's all yours.
But all I can say is keep your hopes up. Don't give in to negativity, because life is still happening. Even though this COVID thing is, life is still going on, and we cannot let these things bring us down. So keep the music flowing, keep the music happening. And to the parents of these young kids who are listening, please support your children. It's very important. Give them the love. And I think now you'll have had more time to spend with them, to understand them, than to just send them off to school and you go off to work. So I think it's important for parents to love and support their children, to see that they're happy. I think that's very important.
And from my part, I would say that a Burger King doesn't taste better than a home-cooked burger. So instead of coming out with one video and make a hit, please work hard and climb the ladder to success.
Good one.
Good.
Well, thank you so much, Rudy and Tips. Soulmate, thank you again for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, this has been a great time talking to you guys. Thank you so much.
Enjoyed this interview.
Yeah.
And on that note,
this
was On That Note with Daryll and Greg. Or am I Greg and you're Daryll? Yeah. It's all right.